Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Artist Cup podcast. This is going to be the very first episode, and based on popular demand, I am going to talk about the anatomies, do's, and don'ts. Now, I have been seeing a lot on the internet for a lot of artists, hentai artists, ecchi artists, any type of artist you could think of, they do it. They mess up anatomy. You would think that professional artists would not mess up anatomy, but they do. A lot of times I see, most of the times what they do is they mess up the breasts, especially when it comes to the women. I've seen breasts defy gravity, nipples in places that they do not belong. I've seen hips contort in areas that shouldn't be contorted. I have seen just about anything you could think of. Now, when it comes to the do's, I suggest for every artist, good, beginning, professional, all of that, and it's my it's just my personal opinion, but definitely practice. Practice every single day your anatomy, and if you think that something is wrong, if you're looking at a drawing and you could tell that it looks wrong or something about it is bugging you, then it's wrong. Something about the picture is wrong, obviously, anatomy wise, because bodies, unless you're a contortionist, unless you're made out of goo, do not work or move the way some artists depict them. Now, don't get me wrong, some people can do that, if you're double jointed or you're flexible or you're a contortionist, okay? But classic poses of like the boob and butt shot where they show both the boob and the butts, like it's an uncomfortable position. Just a lot of times when it comes to anatomy, you just really need to pay attention, and a lot of people really don't pay attention to that. They go for more of the appeal of the drawing and less of the actual realisticness of it. Now, I'm excluding cartoons, abstract, and surrealism because those are meant to be metaphorical. They're supposed to be exaggerated. So for them, basic anatomy is still there, but they exaggerate it. They make it more prominent, So those are excluded. But other things, other art styles, like anime, furry art, hentai art, ecchi art, anything that deals with humans or anthropomorphic characters, you need to know basic anatomy, and a lot of people disregard this. I don't know whether it maybe they just don't know, or they're maybe learning themselves, or maybe they just figure, other people aren't gonna notice. But there are artists there who do notice. I've seen a lot of people in the art industry who fuck up that one thing. I have seen artists that make the anatomy look so disproportionate. They make it so weird looking. And there are other artists that I truly love because the way they make the body, and you could tell that they do know their anatomy. If you could look at the body and can replicate that posture, that's what I want. Everyone who's an artist, from now on, when you're thinking about making a pose that might seem unrealistic, mimic it. If you cannot mimic this pose whatsoever, or you just attempting it hurts your body, then you obviously cannot do this pose and it's unrealistic. Come on, people. Seriously. Just think about it. Your body is only allowed to move in so many ways before it gets extremely uncomfortable and before it starts looking like your body that you just drew broke its back, or it's broken, or just is just disformed. You don't want that. And it's a big pet peeve for me. I will be honest, that's a big pet peeve because it just shows that, yeah, you put a lot of effort and time in your artwork and your style. You put all that shading and coloring in it. You made it look so amazing visually. But if the fundamentals, if the foundation of every piece isn't correct, if it's not fundamentally sound, if it's just not sticking, your entire masterpiece is gonna fall. That's how, think about it like this. In architecture, every time they build a building, before they even build the building, they test the foundation. Why? Because the foundation is what they're gonna put everything else on. Foundation is what makes everything. It's the basics. It's the root. It's the motherboard. It's what makes the building stand. And if you have your foundation, the foundation is in a horrible standpoint, your building is not gonna stand. It's gonna look pretty, yeah, but people are gonna notice all its flaws. And eventually it's going to come down, And a lot of people, I feel, don't think that they need anatomy when you do. You really do. I have heard artists tell other artists sometimes, and I understand the confusion. It's cool. When it comes to professional art, a lot of people think you don't really need anatomy. You don't need references. You just throw it out there and it'll look good. Because, you see your professional artists don't use it. You don't see your professional idols use references. They just make it out and it comes out amazing. But that's the thing. These professional artists had years, and I mean years of studying, and they still use references. They still look at bodies. They still look at the anatomy of a human body. They still look at the anatomy of anything that they're drawing. And that's what you gotta remember. It's okay to practice. Every artist does it. If you don't practice every day, you're just never gonna get better. You're gonna stay stagnant. You're gonna stay stuck. And a lot of people have said, don't use references. Because I've been told that. I've been told that using a reference is like cheating. And you're not allowed to do that. Well, guess what? Referencing is exactly what you need to do. People who tell you that references is cheating are absolutely wrong. Because how else are you going to get down that pose? How else are you going to make sure that that pose that you're trying to do is going to come out the way you envisioned it? You can't without a reference. You can't without looking at a body to see how the body moves, see how it curves. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. When it comes to anatomy, don't wing it. Trust me, don't wing it. If you feel like you can and you're a genius and you can make it look realistic and it looks cool and it actually is able to be done, then by all means, go ahead. But if you don't have that, I suggest you don't do it. Because when it comes to anatomy is hard. And if you're not going to be committed to trying to practice every single day and work on that anatomy, it's okay to work on your anatomy. It really is. Now, what I'm going to say is pretty much a little bit of advice for everyone. Both, professional and not. If you're drawing and if you're struggling with a pose because it's just not looking right, look up references, guys. For artists who don't think that, for artists who draw from their heads and think that, this is how the body looks, especially when it comes to the female anatomy, I'm not gonna lie, some of y'all people make females look so freaking weird. I have seen artists make their nipples do a 180, and it bothers me. I'm gonna be honest, because it bothers me, because it's like, I'm a woman, and nipples do not do that, and if they do, then I don't know what's wrong with mine. But aside from all that, I just want you guys to know that just don't be afraid to use references. If you think that referencing means you're cheating, it's not. If you think that, it's part of a style and you don't need anatomy for this particular style, then you're wrong. Because every artist, every style has a particular anatomy towards it. You need to know that anatomy. You need to practice. Hell, I was horrible when I was younger. I used to believe the same thing. I used to think that if I didn't, if I did it all on my own, everything would look good. It would be great. And using references is not bad. And I just recently started using references, and my art has gotten so much better. So, an artist, speaking to other artists out there, just don't be afraid to work on that anatomy. It's not that scary. It may seem intimidating, but with practice comes perfection. How do you think Da Vinci and all those great other artists made such beautiful artwork? They practice with anatomy first. That's what it is. Anatomy is our foundation. Anatomy is what brings our artwork to life. And if you guys don't think that anatomy really is going to be the foundation, then you guys need to go back to the drawing board. No pun intended. Well, guys, it's the end of the podcast. I hope to hear from you. Put some questions down below and give me something else to talk about for next episode. I'm gonna try to bring every episode on Saturdays, around maybe 8 o'clock, 9. So come on down, bring it in. Also, if you guys like this podcast, subscribe, because I'm gonna need you guys to totally support me here. All right, guys. See you guys later.